Welcome to Lead with Clarity. This is a space for leaders who want to grow without losing themselves in the process. Each episode is a short reflection on leadership, influence, and the inner work that shapes how we show up for others. It's not hype, not noise, just clear thinking for the journey of leading well. Today's episode is entitled The Language of Leadership: Why Communication is Your Most Critical Skill. Here we go. There's a question I come back to often. It's not about strategy. It's not about execution. It's simpler than that. And it's far more revealing. And it's basically this. When was the last time you said something and the person across from you truly understood you? Not just nodded, not just moved on to the next agenda item, but truly understood. If you can't answer that with confidence, what I want to talk about today matters deeply for you as a leader. James Hume was a speechwriter for 5 U.S. presidents. He knew something about the power of words at the highest levels of leadership. And he said this: the art of communication is the language of leadership. One sentence. Sit with that for a second. The art of communication. Not the task, not the skill, the art. That word is deliberate. Art requires intention, practice, discipline, and sensitivity to your audience. It is never accidental. And Hume is telling us that this art, this craft, is the actual language through which leadership operates. Think about the leaders who have shaped your thinking, the ones who moved you to act, the ones whose words you still carry. Were they the most technically brilliant people in the room? Maybe, but that's rarely the thing you remember. What you remember is how they made complex things feel clear, how they made you feel seen in a difficult moment, how they described a vision so vividly that you felt compelled to move toward it. That is communication as leadership. Not performance, not polish, precision and connection delivered with intent. Here's where many leaders get this wrong. They treat communication as delivery. They prepare the slide deck, they rehearse the talking points, they deliver the message, and they check the box. Communication complete. But delivery is not communication. Delivery is transmission. Communication only happens when understanding transfers from one person to another, and the responsibility for that transfer sits entirely with the leader. If your team misunderstands your strategy, that's a communication failure. It's not a listening failure on their part. It's yours. So here's the reframe. Stop asking, did I say it clearly? Start asking, did they receive it clearly? Those are two completely different questions. One focuses on your performance, the other focuses on their comprehension. When you shift from the first to the second, everything about how you prepare and how you follow up changes. You start listening more before you speak. You start checking for understanding, not just delivery. You start reading the room instead of reading from your notes. And you start discovering that clarity is not a communication outcome. It's a relationship outcome. It's what happens when a leader cares enough to keep adjusting until the message lands. Before your next significant conversation or presentation, I want you to pause and ask one question. What does this person or this group need to walk away believing, feeling, or prepared to do? Not what do I need to say, but what do they need to receive? If you design your communication around the answer to that question, you've already moved from information transfer to genuine leadership. James Hume did not say communication is a tool of leadership. He said it is the language of leadership. Language is not a supplement to how we operate. It's how we operate. It's how we build trust, how we transfer vision, how we create alignment, and how we hold people accountable with dignity. The leaders who master this don't just communicate better, they lead better. They retain talent better. They navigate uncertainty better. Because in every moment that matters, their people know exactly where they stand and why. That is the art. Not volume, not vocabulary, not charisma. The consistent disciplined commitment to being understood.